What's up, everybody? It's Darkstrata, the YouTube Assassin, and I have another build video, but I gotta say before we even get into this, all you guys and girls out there that drop comments, you guys are the real MVP of this channel, okay? A lot of you have a lot of constructive criticisms, or you have your own methods for doing some of these builds. And a lot of what you guys are doing is absolutely incredible. So, this one, I want to give a shout out to Super XVG and another commenter, Plenipote. I'm sorry if I butchered either of your guys' names, but the two of you came out with such amazing ideas for a build that I tried to do it with the Athenian warrior set. So I don't recall where you get this from, but the thing is that as you can see, it has already a lot of hunter damage. It's got some, I put the fire damage there. All arrows pierce shields is what happens when you get the set. Okay. I added it has the 20% damage on Spartan soldiers, but one of the reasons that I was going to do this was because I did see that I am fighting a lot of Spartan soldiers lately. So I'm going to be looking into how well this build is in a conquest battle. During the conquest battle, we're going to see how this does. Now, the two of these guys came out and they said that they add a lot of fire damage and fire buildup. So I went with it. Actually, in Plenipote's case, Plenipote decided to use a lot of poison damage. So I'm going to try it like this, and then this has the fire damage. We're going to see what happens. All right, we're going to discover this together. Now, the gloves, as you can see, it has more hunter damage. It has plus 20% damage with overpower abilities. I added the 25% elemental buildup. On the body, it has, obviously, you can see hunter damage. It has damage with bow charge shot, 10%. I added elemental buildup on this one as well. Okay, going to the pants, I put another elemental buildup. It has plus 25% headshot damage, plus 15% hunter damage. We go to the boots, more hunter damage, bow charging speed. I added fire damage, and again, all arrows are going to pierce shields, which that's everything that the Spartans have, are shields. So looking at this, we got like a lot of fire damage. We have a lot of elemental buildup. If we really wanted to switch some of that stuff out, let's look at the engraving list. And we could see, let's see, we do have some poison damage in some situations on some pieces. And I really would have went with some of that if I was going to switch it so that it would have the poison damage. Okay, because poison damage really does a lot of damage as well. It really just eats up at your enemy and stuff like that. So there would be like a couple of changes here and there. Let's see. There was one that I actually was really looking for. No, that's not it. All this hunter damage, or all this fire and poison damage actually would really be amazing. But there's one more that I wanted to see. Let's see. I guess it's not there. It's probably with the melee weapons. Yeah, here we go. This would actually be amazing to add. This is 25% damage and health while in conquest battles. So the way you do this is you have to collect Polemarch seals for these generals that are in Sparta and Attica. I started the quest. I started with the Athenian side. You would have to go to various locations where the Spartans are actually in command. You would go to like one of their forts. You would find the Polemarch. You would kill the Polemarch, and upon doing that, the Polemarch drops a seal. Okay, you take that seal. You actually need 3. You bring it back to the guy in Attica. I believe he was even right here, honestly, like in this spot, like right next to the this landmark here. And then over in, let's see, I can find the quest. Over on this other area, now see, yep, here we go. Only fools want war. And we'll take a look at where this guy is. I don't see it. All right, well, it escapes me, but I do believe somewhere in one of these lands where the Spartans rule, you'll find a general, and he'll ask you to gather Athenian seals. Now, the seals are going to look like this. Hold on one second. See, these are the Athenian seals. The Spartan seals look way different than that. I don't have the Spartan seals, obviously. But the thing is that you could just keep attacking bases, and as you attack bases, you just keep going and collect like 12 seals, because you're going to have to do this like 3 or 4 times. And that's how you unlock the complete mission for either the Athenian side or the Spartan side. And then once you're done with them, then you go back to the other side and you do the same thing. You'll need another 12 seals total. So that plus 25% would actually be really cool on this build. Anyway, being that we don't have that, the Prometheus Sika, it has warrior damage, it has fire damage, it has another 15% fire damage and build-up, and then I added the 20% damage with multi-shot ability. Now, multi-shot, this is going to be great for if we're going to, like be firing tons and tons of arrows, because that's basically what you're going to do. All right? Same thing, it would be reversed if I used a different bow or a different arrow with poison. You would want that kind of buildup. So let's see, the next weapon I have is the Harp of Perseus. Now this has 25% crit damage, 15 hunter damage, minus 25% cooldown duration for all abilities. To me, that was kind of important because I really wanted to like get back in the fight really quick. If you've got something else that you could like stick this to, maybe you could put it on, or maybe you want to go with something else, like a different weapon that has either more firepower or more headshot damage. That would also be awesome. I added the 100% damage, but health cap to 25%. Super, he actually had this on one of his weapons, or I don't know which gear, but this is something that he had. I also add it to a lot of my builds, especially assassin and hunter builds. It just makes your damage so much more, like, just out of control. As you saw on my first hunter build, I was actually hitting for almost 200,000 damage. It was like 180 something at one point. So, this kind of helps that out. Now, going to the bow, I have Hades' bow. Plus 15 warrior damage, plus 20% fire damage. Basic arrows become fire arrows, so there's no need to have any other arrow. Okay? Your basic arrows are not fire arrows. If we were going with a poison build, we would go with most likely the, right here, the Fanged Bow, which has the same thing where basic arrows become poison arrows. But it's more of like an assassin bow, but we can still go with it. It all depends. Okay, so I added plus 25% hunter damage, but minus 15% armor, just so that I get more hunter damage. One of the things I could have actually done was added a little more to the warrior damage. Not that we need warrior damage on this item particularly, but we could have added, let's see, another really good one would have been, well, I mean, we possibly could have added more warrior damage, but being that this is a warrior bow and it's going with warrior things, we could have added something else that increased warrior damage, which would make the bow, like, that's basically what you're fighting with. The fire is under the warrior tree, and the poison is under the assassin tree. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these builds. You could actually like switch back and forth. Now, I do believe Super added 40% damage with bows when above target. This I actually tried out while I was on a tower shooting down, and it actually is amazing. The only reason I didn't add it is because I don't know a lot of situations where I would be above the enemy. It's my understanding that he uses it when he's attacking ships. If he's boarding ships, obviously you're above the enemy, like on one side of your boat or even on the mast, and you could shoot down at your enemies. And it really was amazing damage. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty incredible. So I was pretty impressed with that. Okay, so that's the build. Let's see what the abilities are. All right, now for this, I obviously didn't need a lot of warrior abilities. We didn't need, like a lot of these assassin abilities and everything. Hunter, we actually did need. So I went with Predator Shot. Honestly, I could see not using Predator Shot. I could see that I could have used Spread Shot more, or even Rain of Destruction. Because as you're shooting down, I would think that all that would do like a lot more damage against enemies. But we'll see. We're going to play around with this build a little bit. Devastating Shot, you just unleash like this massive shot. It's great. Multi-shot, we're going to be able to shoot several arrows at once to multiple enemies. Then we have over here Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense is actually pretty cool because you just, snap aim to target. It's one of my favorite things. And then we went with Archery Master. Now this increases the hunter damage, okay, and headshot damage. So we really, this is kind of like important, and then it shows that standard arrows, when using hunter abilities, it doesn't consume any arrows. So, that's actually really great. We're going to be firing fire arrows, and they're going to be basic arrows, but we have a chance where they may not be consumed. So let's see, Overpower Bow Strike. That I figured, will be very useful for like this build. And then we go to Ghost Arrows of Artemis, which is always useful in any hunter build. Shoot through walls, shoot through anything. All right. For the warrior side, always second wind, especially since we've only got 25% health. All right. Weapons and Gear Master increases our stats. So I always put that there. It increases our armor. We're going to be very squishy at 25% health. Overpower attacks. That's something that I use basically like on most of my builds. On this, I don't know how it would work out. We're going to see. It might be amazing. Battle Cry of Ares, using that will actually increase the output that you do. As you see, all attacks inflict 50% more damage for 20 seconds. So that's just going to be absolutely amazing. Now, I added the flaming attacks only because it shows melee weapons and standard arrows inflict fire damage for 25 seconds. When their fire meter is full, enemies start burning. Burning inflicts damage over time. There's no cooldown, requires no adrenaline. So, this actually opens us up and does some damage for this. Fire Mastery. You handle fire like a pyromancer. Fire buildup is increased by 60%. Burning duration is increased by 6 seconds. Fire damage is increased by 40%. And that's what we want to have sticking on our fire arrows. That is a major item that we have to have. That's an ability we need if we're going to have a successful kind of, burning arrow situation. Now, if you preferred using poison arrows instead of fire arrows, then you would skip these two and you would go to the assassin build and you would add venomous attacks and poison mastery, because it basically does the same thing that fire would do, but with poison. And this is what Plenipote went with. So I'm going to try that later on too. I think that's going to be incredible. Now, I went with Shadow Assassin because I like to hide. Critical Assassination, if you're going to sneak up from behind somebody, this is going to take them right out. This is actually good if you're going to enter into a fort, and you're going to try to make your way around, get to a high point, and just rain arrows down on your enemies. And that's another situation where you would probably add that 50% damage when above. So, that's something to keep in mind. Now, Stealth Master, I always add that. I like to be stealthy. It makes you harder to see. Okay? Shadow of Nyx, being that we're so squishy, we need to get the heck out of here. Okay? So we're adding Vanish so that way if we're in a rough spot, we're being surrounded, we're able to just knock them out of their senses and hide. If that doesn't work, we could hide long enough where we could use Shadow of Nyx where you become completely invisible. Now, As you see in the little animation, the guy's running down the road. You're completely invisible. The only way that guy's going to see you is if you're standing right in his path. Then he'll see you. Another way is if there's an animal nearby. The animals can see you even though you're invisible. Weird, but that's what they've got. Now, personally, I added Hero Strike. I like Hero Strike. I use it on a lot of my builds. It just knocks the enemy out, and every build that I've done so far, it one-shots them. So they don't get up from this. So it's a good method of control. And if we're squishy, we need to be able to get out of dodge quick. We need to knock somebody out and get out of there. All right? Another item that I used was slow time. Okay, we move faster for about 10 seconds. Time is slowed down. Just in case you miss a dodge, you could actually use this. You get a little quicker. You know, time slows down. You're able to either take a shot, a critical headshot if you need it, or run. Whatever you need to do. So those are the abilities. Now, we'll go to the stats. We'll go to the numbers, like we like to do. So let's see. Main attributes. Hunter damage is plus 255%. That's enormous. That is enormous. Damage with headshots, 240%. That's going to be killer. All right, so already we've got like really good stats. The modifiers, critical hit chance is only 15%. There are some engravings that could improve that, and I'm looking into other engravings that maybe will improve that even further beyond than what we have. All right, but critical hit damage is 125%, and that's really good numbers. Could be better still, but we'll see. Armor bonus is 75%. That's because we're squishy. Range resistance, 20%. Now, fire damage, 135%. That's crazy. The fire duration is only going to be 15 seconds. Not as good as my Fire Spartan, but, I mean, 15 seconds is kind of huge, especially this fire buildup, 250%. They may burn almost instantly. So those numbers could possibly be mirrored if we were using a poison build instead of the fire build. All right? Now, as far as utility, the only thing that we've really got is bow charging speed. So that's 10%. That'll make it a lot quicker for us to fire off those arrows. So let's see. That's the build. We're in the middle of an actual battle. Let's see how it does. Okay, so already went straight through a shield. Have a little bit of... Okay, here we go. Look at this. Oh, that's actually pretty good. The only thing that really stinks is that now I'm out of adrenaline, so that's not good. So now I kind of have to... Yeah, can't be squishy. Well, too bad I am squishy. And that would have actually been a lot better if I would have used Shadow of Nyx. That would have made more sense. But they're catching fire pretty quick. They're going down pretty quick. As long as I'm headshotting them, they're going down. Alright, so now let's see what that would have looked like if I would have had Shadow of Nyx. Let's get like a really... Or not Shadow of Nyx, Battle Cry of Ares. Okay, no. That's what we wanted. Okay, yeah, we're just like decimating these guys. I may swap out some of the build-up for adrenaline build-up. Because we're doing some great numbers here, and we're taking out like a lot of people. At the end of this battle, I'm pretty confident that we're gonna have just like a plethora of soldiers that we took out. There we go, headshot, buddy, headshot. Nope, you missed me. Yeah, the cooldown is still taking a little too long. There we go. Let's battle cry of Ares again. And let's take out multiples of these Malakas. I actually would love to see this with poison as well. Wow. Okay, victories already. 59 soldiers killed. 3 captains. It was all soldiers. That's all we took out. That is wild. That's absolutely amazing. So that was it. That was pretty intense. I really do think that had we used poison, it may have been a similar outcome. But I think that maybe the poison would have burned them up a lot quicker. I'm going to have to try it out. I'm going to have to see, and I'm going to have to see if I could do something about the adrenaline, because the adrenaline, you know, even though we did our thing, we got through the entire battle like relatively with ease. I think that an adrenaline build would have made things like a little bit easier. But as you saw, like, you really had to like escape, you really had to run around, you really had to be aware of your surroundings, your situational awareness, and just get out of there. Run, run so that you're far enough where you're able to recover, you're able to like hook up some more stuff, you're able to take a couple of headshots. That's where the slow time would have came into play. I could have slowed down time and taken a couple of headshots, but the damage was amazing. I mean, we were just killing people left and right without even realizing it. So I think this was a pretty cool build. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that these guys came up with some pretty good builds? Would you like to see it done with a poison version instead of the fire version? What changes would you have made to this build? Do you think that we were okay as far as adrenaline went, or that we should have had a little more adrenaline buildup? I'd like to know what you think. After all, you guys, when you guys come up with a bunch of these theories and ideas and stuff like that, and I try them out, I'm 9 times out of 10 not surprised that you guys have such incredible ideas. So again, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out an awful lot. And as always, thank you for watching.